What up, everybody? Welcome back to Jayfabe Wrestling. And yes, we're here. We're into the WrestleMania 30s, so we're almost done. This journey of rebooking every WrestleMania. It's been really great. Appreciate all the comments and support that I've been getting. So yeah, let's get into this. WrestleMania 30 took place April 6, 2014. In New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, brother. I remember it was a Hulk Hogan calling it the Silver Dome. That's pretty funny. Attendance was around 60 to 65,000. Buy rate was around 690,000. Obviously, this was with the WWE Network also in play here, so the buy rate is not going to be as high. The tagline was, "Let the good times roll." And let's get into the card right now. So we got in the pre-show the Usos retaining their tag team championships, defeating Los Matadores, the Real Americans, and Rybaxo. And in the opener, we got Daniel Bryan defeating Triple H, and he gets into the main event at WrestleMania. We got The Shield defeating Kane and the New Age Outlaws in a 6-man tag match. We got Cesaro last eliminating The Big Show to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We have John Cena defeating Bray Wyatt. Brock Lesnar defeating The Undertaker and ending the streak. We got AJ Lee defending her title in the Vicky Guerrero Invitational match, defeating Oksana, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Cameron, Emma, Eva Marie, Layla, Naomi, Natalia, Nikki Bella, Rosa Mendez, Summer Rae, and Tamina Snuka. And in the main event, we got Daniel Bryan defeating Batista and Randy Orton to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And yeah, WrestleMania 30 is definitely one of the higher regarded WrestleManias. Had a lot of great moments. Obviously, the rise of Daniel Bryan versus Triple H in the opener, a classic opener. The only opener that probably rivals it is Brett versus Owen. We got a cool moment with Cesaro finally getting the push there, winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Cena and Wyatt was good. Had a nice story there where Bray Wyatt was, trying to get John Cena to turn into the dark side. Of course, we have Brock Lesnar breaking the streak. Obviously, the match wasn't as good as, Taker's usual classics, but still iconic moment. When Brock wins, they don't even ring the bell right away. The crowd is silent. Brock's music doesn't play right away. Paul Heyman is just, he can't believe it. The announcers are stunned. Just a great overall package of how the streak would look if it ended. And obviously the main event, feel-good story, but Daniel Bryan defeating Batista and Randy Orton. Obviously the controversy there with the 2014 Royal Rumble. The fans kind of forced Daniel Bryan's way in here. Also with the help of, CM Punk walking out of the company. So, yeah, this was just a very, very good WrestleMania. Had a lot of great moments. Daniel Bryan winning, the streak ending, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the first time ever it happened. To add on to that, we also had that awesome opener with The Rock, Austin, and Hogan. Just a great segment with three of the biggest stars of all time there interacting. Obviously, you have Hogan calling the Superdome the Silver Dome. You have The Rock doing his thing. You have Austin doing his thing. And they have a nice toast to end it off. Just a great moment here. And I hope that WrestleMania 40, they have something like this where they bring out more legends as we celebrate, the history of WrestleMania. And I honestly can't believe this was 10 years ago, but yeah, this is a very good show. But there's definitely some things I would tweak here. Obviously, Batista in the main event, it didn't really work for me. I have something a little better for John Cena to do. And I think, the mid-card titles did not get defended on this show, so yeah, I'm not really happy with that. I feel like, all the titles should be defended. I would definitely put the tag titles on the show and definitely have a different Divas match, because that Invitational was just too much, So, yeah. But let's get into my card, guys, right now. All right, the first match we have for the WWE Tag Team Championship, I have the champions, the Real Americans. Yeah, so they'll be champions versus the Usos, the challengers here. So I would have the Real Americans defeat Cody Rhodes and Goldust at the Royal Rumble. And yeah, the Usos could win a tag team title tournament here. And yeah, pretty simple stuff here. The Usos are looking for their first tag team title reign. They've been in the business for, since 2010, I believe. And they're talking about how this is their shot, their debut at WrestleMania. And this is their chance to prove that they are the best tag team, and they're going to prove it at WrestleMania. And then you have the Real Americans here, Cesaro and Jack Swagger, not really taking them seriously. And, they, as the Real Americans, they can even talk about the Samoan, I know the Usos did like some Samoan kind of ceremony for their entrance. The Real Americans kind of mock that and say, you guys cheer that over us Real Americans, stuff like that. And, you could have, a couple single matches between the guys here. They could trade a couple wins. And also during this build, you could have Cesaro and Jack Swagger slowly, getting not on the same page here, miscommunications, losing a couple singles matches there. So yeah, that's kind of slowly building up, and yeah, I think it'll be a fun, high-flying opener. We've seen the Usos against the Bar many times, but this time we got Jack Swagger. So yeah, you got the high fly versus the strength of Cesaro and the submission work of Jack Swagger. I think if you give these guys like 10 minutes, this will be a great match. And the Usos get the feel-good victory here. Their first tag team title win at WrestleMania. I know they won like a couple weeks prior, but you might as well save that for WrestleMania. So yeah, the Usos get the win here, and after the match, you could have Cesaro and Jack Swagger do the breakup just like they did on the real show. And yeah, we're gonna see more from Cesaro later. All right, next up we got the Divas Championship match: AJ Lee versus Tamina Snuka. Yeah, this is just a way better match here, and the build would make sense because Tamina was actually working as AJ's bodyguard, so she helped AJ Lee retain a lot of her retain her belt and win a lot of her matches here. So yeah, you could just have this maybe one time where Tamina messes up, maybe a tag team match at Elimination Chamber. They could lose, and AJ could slap Tamina, and that's when Tamina snaps on her and hits AJ with the super kick, and then the splash from the top rope. And yeah, and AJ could talk about how she's made Tamina relevant. Before Tamina was working with me, no one knew her, no one gave a damn about her. And Tamina could talk about how people always cared about me because of my legacy, and my family. And AJ could talk about how she wasn't given anything from her family. She did this on her own, and that she's gonna embarrass her and her family at WrestleMania. And Tamina says, this is a big opportunity for me to to prove to my family that we are the best, and that and even if you could even have AJ Lee hit Tamina with a coconut in the build, I think that'd be pretty funny as well. But they could have a nice 5-10 minute match, and I actually would have AJ Lee retain here. Obviously, Paige is coming in later on, so yeah, I'd give AJ Lee the win here. But yeah, a hard-fought win, clean win for AJ Lee. She could win, by countering like the Samoan drop into the Black Widow submission and get the win. All right, next up we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Yeah, this was the show where this Battle Royal debuted, and honestly, at the time they built it with like giving it some prestige. It felt like because it was the first time They had the big trophy there, and yeah, all the stars said they wanted to win it, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, just keep the whole match the same here. And yeah, you gotta have Cesaro win it. Just the way he eliminated the Big Show was just such a star-making moment for him. Him able to like scoop slam him and slam him out over the top rope, which was very cool. And yeah, you had a lot of good stars in here. You had Sheamus in here, Del Rio, Kofi in there, Big Show. So yeah, obviously I did take a few out because I did have some mid-card matches here. But yeah, Mark Henry was in there, The Miz. So yeah, you had a lot of star power in there. And it was a really, really good battle royal, actually. You had a lot of action, especially when it came down to the few people in there. Kofi had a cool spot where, his foot landed on the steps. That was very cool. So yeah, I think keep everything the same. And honestly, the only bad part is, like the next year, this was moved to the pre-show and it lost all the prestige. So, yeah, I just hope that, when I rebook it, I'm going to try to keep the prestige going. But, yeah, great win for Cesaro. And obviously the aftermath didn't work out for him, but this moment right here was definitely a great moment. All right, next up, we got the United States Championship match. I got the champion, Sin Cara. Yes, Sin Cara facing Rey Mysterio. I'll talk about the result later, but yeah, Sin Cara versus Rey Mysterio. So they were kind of teaming up at the end of 2013 here, and obviously Sin Cara did not, fulfill the Rey Mysterio shoes as becoming the next luchador. But, I still felt like this was still a match that we wanted to see, especially in 2011. I know it's 2014 and Sin Cara lost all his luster, but I still think this would have been a cool match here. You have Rey Mysterio on the show, you might as well use him in a nice way rather than stick him in the Battle Royal. So yeah, I'd actually have Sin Cara defeat Del Rio for the U.S. Championship. And yeah, Rey could just make the challenge, I want to see, if I'm still the best luchador, me versus you at WrestleMania. Sin Cara accepts. And yeah, they could have a couple of tag matches where there's some miscommunication and they lose. Yeah, and Rey could talk about, how he's been waiting for someone to take over the luchador reigns here. And he wants to know if Sin Cara is ready. And he says, I don't think Sin Cara is ready. So Sin Cara could, talk back and say that, he's been compared to Rey Mysterio his whole career. And he says he has a lot of respect for Rey Mysterio and what he's did in this business. But he's out here to make a name for himself and say, I'm not the next Rey Mysterio. I'm the next Sin Cara. So, yeah, I think this would be a great match here. And, yeah, to be honest, I'd probably give Sin Cara a win here because Rey Mysterio, he didn't really do much after this. He probably left the company shortly after, or he got injured or something. So Sin Cara was still around. So yeah, I'll give Sin Cara a win. And after the match, they can shake hands. And yeah, Rey can endorse Sin Cara as the next rising luchador. All right, next up, we got the Intercontinental Championship match. I have Big E defending against Dolph Ziggler. So yeah, just going backtracking here, I'd actually have Dolph lose the world title to Cody Rhodes. And after the match, Big E can turn on Dolph Ziggler. He could hit him with a big ending through the announce table or something like that. And then AJ could turn on Dolph Ziggler. She sides with Big E. And yeah, it's just about, Big E saying he was doing all Dolph's dirty work, and now that Dolph is not the man anymore, that he realizes that he's much better than Dolph, and Dolph can talk about how, he brought Big E into this business and that, he wanted to, help him out, and this is how he's going to treat me. So, yeah, I think good feud here. And I'd actually give Dolph Ziggler the win here. He would counter like the big ending into the zigzag, because obviously this was a big year for Dolph Ziggler, so I want to, get his push starting a little early. And yeah, I think this is a good, first off, the IC title hasn't been defended in so long on WrestleMania, so it's good to have it on the card. And this is just a beautiful, climax to a story of, Big E was brought in to be Dolph's muscle, but, Big E realized Dolph ain't the man he is anymore. And yeah, so he's trying to prove that, and Dolph's still trying to prove that, he still got it. So yeah, I think this will be a really good match, and nice victory for Dolph Ziggler. All right, next up we got Cody Rhodes versus Goldust. Yeah, I think, in my previous years I had, Booker T and Goldust against the Rhodes Scholars. So this is just a nice build up to Cody versus Goldust. So obviously, like I stated, I would have Cody win the Money in the Bank. So he would be the one to defeat Dolph Ziggler. And I would have the unification match, Cody, Randy at TLC. And Goldust would accidentally cost Cody the match. Maybe, he gets attacked and he accidentally tips over the ladder. So Randy becomes a unified champion there. But they're still the tag champs. So they at Royal Rumble, they miscommunication. They lose to the Real Americans. And then at the actual Royal Rumble match, Cody could accidentally eliminate Goldust. So Elimination Chamber, they're getting a tag team rematch. That's when Goldust doesn't tag in. So Goldust is the one that, in my booking, that turns heel here. And then after the match, Goldust could attack Cody. He could hit him with that move where, he puts his legs on the ropes and gives him a low blow. And yeah, Goldust can, he could start going back to like that old Goldust where, he's being very cryptic and creepy. He makes these vignettes talking about, how Cody was always seen as the next American dream and that he was always an outcast and, he was always the brother that, disappointed, and he's going to prove at WrestleMania that he is not that and he's the best Rhodes. And you could have Dusty get involved here. He's, trying to break it up. And Dusty could even side with Cody here because Goldust is the heel. And they have a nice match there. Dusty could be on ringside. Goldust could go for the crossroads and Cody could counter into his own crossroads, gets the win. After the match, they have a nice family embrace. And so Goldust's heel turn was just temporary, so they have a nice family embrace with the American Dream. And I think this would be a great WrestleMania moment. All right, next up we got The Shield versus the Wyatt family. Yes, so this match did take place at Elimination Chamber 2014. And I would keep all the build the same here. Obviously, in the real feud, they had it started with like Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. But I'd actually have Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. If Daniel Bryan wins, he gets into the main event. So that's kind of how I would book it here. And the Authority starts to jump Daniel Bryan with help from the Wyatt family. And that's when the Shield, they make the save. They fight off the Wyatts and the Authority. And Daniel Bryan is able to defeat Bray Wyatt at Elimination Chamber. So he gets into the main event of WrestleMania. And then from there you could play off the same feud where the Shield, they did some like fun videos in the back saying, "Oh, we're not scared of you," and Bray Wyatt could do his promos, telling the Shield to run, and it's pretty simple. Two factions battling out to see who is the most dominant faction in the WWE, and again, the Shield is the reason they turned is because they're the Hounds of Justice and they know what's right and wrong, and they know that Daniel Bryan deserves to be in the main event. So the Authority gets asked the Wyatt family to handle the Shield here, and I think you have the same match, and it actually would give the Wyatt family the win because I think it makes sense considering that the Shield were going to break up later in the year, and also they're going to feud with Evolution so they could get their win back by beating Evolution. But I think the Wyatt family really needed this win. It just makes Bray off as more of a dominant character. And this would be a great match. That's the one thing I think WrestleMania 30 was missing, is having this match on the card. Because it just adds to the card, having a classic brawl, 6 young studs going at it. And be a great match for sure. All right, next up we got the Animal Batista versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. Yes, so this is a dream match that we never got. And honestly, this is the only opportunity. You could also do WrestleMania 35, but, Batista was much older and Brock was in the Universal title scene. So I think this would be the time. This is the perfect time here. You bring Batista back, but you don't shove him in the main event. You give us a dream match here. And I think Batista, if you feud it with Brock, he could be the face because the fans, I don't think, would turn on him. I would actually start this feud at the Royal Rumble. So I would actually put Brock in the Royal Rumble. I know in real life he fought the Big Show, but in my reality, he's in the Royal Rumble. And Batista eliminates Brock. And everyone is shocked. Paul Heyman is stunned. And then later in the match, Brock could return and eliminate Batista. And Brock could hit the F5 on Batista through the announce table. And the next night on Raw, Batista could come out and challenge Brock Lesnar. And Paul Heyman could come out and say, "We do not accept." So Batista gets mad. He powerbombs Paul Heyman. The next week, Ric Flair could come out with Batista. He's saying he wants to challenge. And then there's a video of Brock saying he's calling Batista out backstage. Batista goes to look for him, but then Brock somehow comes from behind the announce table and gives Ric Flair an F5. So they make it personal here. And then Brock says he accepts. No holds barred match. Paul Heyman is in Brock's corner. Ric Flair's in Batista's corner. And they could have a contract signing where Batista gets the powerbomb on Brock Lesnar on the go-home show. So just really building the hype here. And you could just have vignettes talking about, how these guys were in OVW and how they both became stars. But, there's only one top star from that class. We're going to find out who it is. Is it Brock or is it Batista? It's the Animal versus the Beast. So they could talk about that. And I think it'd be a good match. Brock gets to win. Hard-fought match. He could, counter the powerbomb and into an F5. 1, 2, 3. All right. Next up, we got The Undertaker versus John Cena. So Cena, he could lose the Rumble. He could also lose in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match. And then Cena could come out on Raw and say, he doesn't know what he's going to do at WrestleMania. He says he's done it all. And, he's thinking about, it might be time to hang it up. And then you have The Undertaker just appeared. The gong hits. He appears in the ring. And he looks at the WrestleMania sign. And John Cena accepts. He does the "you can't see me." And The Undertaker does the cutthroat taunt. And it's official. Cena versus Taker. And Taker could talk about how, the company has, wanted John Cena to be the face of WWE, but he's always been here and that he's never lost his spot as the top dog. And John Cena could talk about how, Taker mentored him when he was a young, cocky kid. And he could talk about, their feud in 2003 and how, that was a different John Cena. This is a grown man John Cena. This is the face that runs the place, and he's going to prove that, Undertaker is great, but he ain't better than John Cena. So, and they could have a couple brawls here and there where Cena can hit the FU on the announce table. Next week, Undertaker hit the choke slam on the announce table. And, it slowly gets personal. Cena could talk about how people hate him because he's so good, and he's like, imagine how much people are going to boo me when I end your streak and end your career. And Undertaker could talk about the reason that people boo you is because you're a phony, You think you claim to be the greatest of all time, but you're not. And at WrestleMania, you're going to rest in peace. So, honestly, this is a classic match that WWE did not deliver on. Obviously, they did have the match at WrestleMania 34. But let's be honest, that wasn't it. Undertaker just squashed John Cena. Undertaker wasn't the same wrestler. Heck, even John Cena wasn't the same wrestler. But I think 2014, Undertaker, he didn't have a great match against Brock, but he did get concussed, and honestly, working with Brock and working with Cena is much different. Working with John Cena is much more safer. It's not as much hard-hitting moves he has to take. So I think this could still be a great match. Undertaker proved the next year when he fought Brock at SummerSlam in Hell in a Cell that he still got it. So I think this still would be a great match. Obviously, there's a lot of anticipation because people think Cena might actually end the streak just because John Cena usually wins at the end. But, this is just a big missed opportunity WWE missed on. And, what a time to have it. WrestleMania 30, Cena, Taker. And I would have John Cena. I'm kidding. John Cena would not end the streak. Undertaker would win here. And, I still think this would be another classic Undertaker streak match. John Cena can go for the AA. Taker could reverse it. Tombstone. Cena kicks out. Undertaker does another tombstone. And that's all she wrote. So, Alright, guys. Now we're here. The main event of the evening for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Randy Orton, defending against Daniel Bryan and Triple H. So, in my rebooking, Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. But Triple H comes out the next night and says, "'Cause you lost to Bray Wyatt, do you really deserve to be the number one contender?" And that's when Triple H could, again bring up that he's his B plus player, and that the reason I turned on you, Bryan, was to actually, again, help you because I didn't want to see you, fail as the main eventer. So he could just talk all that junk. And, Daniel Bryan could, put Triple H in the label lock. So, Triple H says, your match at Elimination Chamber will be no holds barred. So, again, they fight. If Bryan wins, he gets in the main event. The Authority couldn't interfere. And like I mentioned before, that's when the Shield would come out. Make things even against the Authority and the Wyatt family, and Daniel Bryan can get his win back on Bray Wyatt. He gets him in the label lock. And then, from there, you could do the same things where, Daniel Bryan can occupy Raw just to show that, the people are by his side. That was a great segment where, they took over the show there. Triple H starts to get pissed at Randy because Randy, he ain't really, getting the job done when he's brawling with Daniel Bryan. So he says, what? At WrestleMania, I'm in the match too. It's a triple threat match. So Randy's even more furious. And it makes sense because obviously Bryan and Orton, they kind of did too much of it in 2013. They fought like 3 pay-per-views in a row. But in my rebooking, I wouldn't have that. But I still feel like, Triple H should be in the match as well, just to stack the odds against Daniel Bryan. And Triple H and Randy Orton can make a pact and say, you know what, we eliminate Daniel Bryan and it's me and you and we have a lot of history. And obviously Randy can still talk about how he's still bitter when he got kicked out of Evolution. And Triple H could talk about how, you kissed my wife, you RKO'd my wife. And And during that segment, Bryan can actually come out, attack both of them on the Go Home show with a candlestick, maybe just like he did, I think, on the real Go Home show. And so I'd book it similar to the real triple threat match they had at WrestleMania 30. You could have with Steph interfering, that crooked referee. You could have all that stuff, and Bryan gets Triple H to submit. I think this would be a big moment. Just a great moment for Daniel Bryan. And, in my rebooking, this was meant to happen and not really, the fans didn't force that WWE's hand. I recognize how over Daniel Bryan was, so let's take advantage of it, have him win the Rumble, have him have a great storyline going into it from Elimination Chamber. And, just keep his momentum and pay it off, pay off what happened at SummerSlam. And, Daniel Bryan proves that he could be the face of the WWE. All right, guys. So, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think. Just some of the improvements I think I made here. Having Real Americans and Usos in a straight-up tag match. I think it was better. Ryback to me was not really a team. And Los Matadores, they're a fun team, but, they're not on the same level as the Real Americans and the Usos. And then I'm also saving the big win for WrestleMania for the Usos. And it makes sense considering that the Real Americans did break up. AJ Lee versus Tamina makes sense rather than the Vicky Guerrero Invitational, because AJ Lee was a heel, Vicky was kind of a heel, so that didn't really make sense. Paying off the, Tamina as AJ Lee's bodyguard, so that makes sense. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, still the same, still a great Battle Royal. Have a very fun U.S. title match and Intercontinental Championship match, so I actually have the mid-card titles on the show. To me, the later WrestleManias, having no mid-card titles on the show has really devalued these titles. So, and I have two different matches here. I got the bout of the Luchador Sin Cara versus Rey Mysterio, which was kind of a dream match. Obviously, Sin Cara didn't really become what we all expected him to be, but it's still a dream match, so I kind of have a little dream match here. And then I'm paying off the Big E Dolph Ziggler stuff. They kind of had a weak payoff match at SummerSlam, so having them pay it off here I think is great. Having Cody Rhodes and Goldust, this was definitely another missed opportunity. Brother versus brother with the history here. And it's great to do it while Dusty Rhodes is alive as well. So, and then the Shield versus the Wyatt family, just adding another classic match. Just like that, WWE could have easily done that, but they had the Shield versus Kane and the Outlaws. So this is clearly an upgrade over that. Batista Brock, another dream match that we didn't get and we should have got. Cena Taker, another dream match where we didn't get it at the right time. This time, I think is the perfect time, WrestleMania 30. And then the main event, having still the same elements of the real main event here, but this time Triple H is in the match, so there's even more heat. And Daniel Bryan, he steals the show. He steals WrestleMania. And, also the streak doesn't end. So, this is more of an emphasis for Daniel Bryan, his moment. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think of my card, how it compares to the original card. And, I'm going to run down through my card right now. For the World Tag Team Championship, the Real Americans defending against the Usos. For the Divas Championship, AJ Lee defending against Tamina Snuka. The 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. For the United States Championship, Sin Cara defending against Rey Mysterio. For the Intercontinental Championship, Big E defending against Dolph Ziggler. Cody Rhodes versus Goldust. The Shield versus the Wyatt family. Batista versus Brock Lesnar. The Undertaker versus John Cena. And for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Randy Orton defending against Triple H and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and sub for more. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.